if you currently own a home or a condo or a building and you're going to rent it to others, if it's your personal primary dwelling, let's go over this insurance and what the process is to get it insured properly from what you have now to what you're going to use it for. So essentially the question is, if I start renting out my house, do I have to switch my insurance? And the short answer is yes. You need to have a different type of policy depending on how you're going to rent it out and who you're going to rent it to. Now with insurance, what most commonly happens is if it's a family member, that's different, because family and blood related relatives, that's a different scenario where they technically could be listed on your policy and you can have it that route. The smartest way and the easiest way to think about it is if you're getting paid for the home and you're getting rent money, then what you need to have is what's called a dwelling and fire policy, a DP policy. And what that does is that dwelling policy is going to be essentially listing your house being used for rental. Now it's a little bit different if you're renting a room in the house, because the room in the house is something that some companies can do. So it's not all companies. You have to talk to your agent and find out if that's a scenario. If you have questions, we'll answer them in the comments below. But knowing that someone that is going to live there, that is just renting a room or a space or whatever the case is, then there's an option for that. Some insurance companies will allow you to do what's an Airbnb, and you can have insurance for that as well. The main thing that you're going to notice is the coverage tends to shift a little bit from having just personal property. It's no longer just personal property. It's now actual personal property, but for business use. And the coverages that a lot of people want to have is, if you have it on your personal policy and you have a claim, you don't get the loss of rent. So if I was renting this out every month on constant basis, then I would normally have X amount of rent. But if there was a fire and it goes 12 months with having to rebuild the kitchen or whatever the case is, then I don't have all of that rent money coming in. Insurance will protect you for that. You're going to get whatever your policy is determined in the event that it's a filed claim that's covered. Now also there's usually a shed or something that you have like materials in, extra tiles, extra things, and like mowing the lawn and paint, all of the things that you would normally kind of have for a house, but it's now more geared towards like extra coffee makers and things like that. You're going to have additional coverage for that as well. If you are looking for that type of homeowner's insurance and you're trying to determine whether you should shift it from personal lines to that dwelling and fire that we talked about, or if you can just keep it with your current company or keep it the way it is, I'll put a link in the description below where you can get a quote with us directly. Hopefully it's helpful. I'm Mark with Valor Insurance. We'll see you soon.